Hi everyone. I know that some of you are getting ready to enter your first year and you probably have so many questions and you're just freaking out. I know I was my first year, but you know what? I'm about to enter my third year as a school psychologist. And I will tell you some things that I wish that I knew for how I could survive my first year as a school psychologist. And you know what? I'm gonna do 10 tips for how you could survive your first year. I'm gonna tell you 5 things you should not do and 5 things that you should do to help you. So if that sounds interesting to you, or if you're sitting there freaking out wondering, how am I gonna get through my first year? I'm just getting out of grad school. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the right video for you. All right, so I'm gonna start with the don'ts. I'm gonna do 5 don'ts, okay? So the first thing that I don't think that you should do to help you survive is don't assume that you know everything, but also don't assume that you know nothing. Now, I feel like most people can understand that second part of this statement. There are some people though that do go in thinking that they know everything, which you don't. You don't know the culture of the school. Even if you know or think that you know everything in terms of what you learned in grad school, each school is different, each district is different. It's gonna function differently. But I don't feel like that's the majority of people. A lot of people think that they don't know anything. And I'm here to tell you that you do know things. You know what you're doing in terms of what a school psych does, in terms of testing. And yes, you may have only done this in internship. And yes, you may have only learned about it in your classes and you haven't had that real world experience where you are the one school psychologist and you are the one doing the assessing and the presenting all by yourself. But you know what? You practiced it, and I'm here to tell you that you do know. You at least know the basics. And the further along you get, the more you're going to learn. But you just knowing the basics going in is enough for you to do your job. I know that I went in and I was so nervous, and I remember I was talking to my mentor, and that was one of the things that she put at the end of my year review to work on, was to be more confident in myself, because I do know what I'm doing, but I would second guess myself sometimes. And my second year I did that less, and I'm like, yeah, like, oh, I do. But you know what? I want you to go into your first year not second guessing yourself. You know, like, you get the test results and you think, oh, this kid is seeming to fit the intellectual disability category, then they do. And you know what? You can say that and then maybe even go to a colleague or something to say, would you have labeled this kid in the same category? And I wouldn't do that for all of them, because I bet that after the first couple, when your colleague is like, yeah, I would, that's gonna give you that confidence, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I guess I knew this all along. Which brings me to my next point for the don'ts. The 2, don't forget to ask for help. If you need help or feel like you need help, your colleagues and everyone are there to support you, and you'll probably have a mentor and or supervisor, someone that you can go to ask questions, and they're there to help you out, especially during like your first year or 2. They know you're still learning, especially if you just came out of grad school. So they're there to help. Don't be afraid to utilize that. It will help you, and they're there to help you. My 3rd don't, from the beginning when you start, if you can control it, do not take work home with you. I stress that a lot because I have a lot of friends that do, and it's just not healthy. You are working whatever your hours are. You are working, let's say 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Those are your contracted work hours. And you are not supposed to bring work home after those hours. Now, if it's an absolute emergency, I don't know, something came up last minute, you guys have to do it or you will all get in trouble, different story. But you shouldn't bring home your reports to write, you know? And I know that could be really difficult in certain schools, but I would make it a point, like if your school's trying to overwork you and try to make you do other things that aren't in your job category, but you have reports to write or kids to test or other kids to see, do those things and tell them, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's due on these dates. I'm not taking the work home with me, and that's that. Obviously, say it in a nicer way, but be firm in what you're saying and don't let them push you around. Number 4 for don'ts, do not sign up for everything. I know I have a lot of friends that they went into school psych and started working, and then, you know, the school's like, well, we're gonna have this activity after school and we need help with it, so they sign up for that. We want to implement, I don't know, a new system. We need staff for that. So they sign up for that, and they sign up for the next thing, and they sign up for different groups. And don't get me wrong, yes, sign up for things that are interested in you, but don't push yourself too thin. And I think that happens a lot because they're eager to show, like, I'm here to help and to support, but then they signed up for everything and now they're overworked and they're stressed and they have no time for themselves, and that's not how it's supposed to be. You could sign up for 1 or 2 things. You could even sign up for a lot if you know that it's not going to push you thin. But in my experience, from people that I know, it seems like a lot of people tend to overdo it and then they sign up for everything. Then it's a couple months into the job and they're like, I'm so tired. I don't get home till late. I'm still working on the weekends because I need to figure out pretty much how the rest of the week is going to go because they sign up for so many things. And the last don't, the 5th one, which to me is super important, and I think they're all important, but to me, this is really important. And it's, do not wait until the last minute to complete things. Even if it seems like everything's calm, get on it right away because you never know what's gonna pop up later on. So if it's like September and there's a kid that just came in, you got consent that needs to be tested, and you're like, I can get to that later. It's the beginning of the school year, everything's calm. No. It's good then that it's the beginning of the school year and it's calm, but get on it right away. Go find that kid, go test them, even if you don't write the report yet, because you know what? Things could come up out of nowhere. And also, then you have it done. You know, like the meeting, I don't know, is like end of October and you finished it the same week you got the consent. Now you don't even have to worry about it. So if other things do come up, well, you don't even have to be like, well, what else do I have to do? Oh, I already completed all the other stuff. And when it's crunch time, this will help you a lot because there's certain months, for me, it tends to be like end of November and beginning of December, and then also right when we come back. So like February, March kind of. And it just seems like everything's crazy. Everyone wants to get kids tested, but then people are starting to figure out, oh, I'm having trouble and difficulty with these kids in my classroom behaviorally. I need help with that. And there's just a lot going on. So if you do things as they come in, it will save you a lot of stress. All right, moving on to the things that you should do. The first thing that I think that you should do is take time for yourself. If you watch my other videos, you know I am very, very, very big on self-care. And that could be whatever it is for you, but take time for yourself. Do a hobby outside of work. On the weekends, treat yourself. I know for me, I do dance at least once a week. Sometimes I might skip a week and then I do it 2 times in a week. And I also have a membership to get massages or facials every month at Massage Envy. And those are little things, but that's things that I enjoy and that I'm doing for self-care for myself. Definitely take time for yourself. Even if it's something simple like I want to work out, I want to go for a walk, whatever it is. Or if you want to read a book, watch your favorite show, whatever it is, do it. You deserve it. A second do that I thought of, but I got more into it the more the school year went on, was getting good rewards and activities to do with students. So especially in the elementary school, if you have to talk to a kid that's sad, or you're doing like a suicide assessment, or they're having behavioral problems, having those games to talk with them while they're experiencing these things, I feel like it gets through to them a lot, you know? Like, even if they don't want to open up, maybe you're like, well, let's play some Uno for a little bit. Or, I have all these games. How about we talk while playing Junior Monopoly? So I think that just motivates them and it gets them moving, and they'll talk while they're playing the game. They'll be more likely to open up. And then the rewards, because you never know if you're gonna see a kid for an extended period of time. Maybe, you know, you wanna give them candy, or even I like to just have candy in my office. So when I see a kid, they have candy, and that's something for them to look forward to. Like, they get excited to do that. Like, you know, like, oh, I want to go and talk to you because then I know I'll get a treat at the end. And I think it makes them feel like they're not in trouble, because even if kids aren't in trouble, sometimes they'll feel like they are. So it's good to have rewards and activities for your students. The next thing for the do's, and something that I want to do more of this year, is in the beginning of the year, before things get busy, get to know the teachers and the other staff, especially if it's your first year at the school, because you don't know anyone and you want them to know who you are, what you do, and what they can come to you for. But also you want to get to know the teachers so that they trust you, because you might need their students. And it's just good to have that open communication, and not only with the teachers but also the other staff. So like the principal, assistant principal, anybody that's in like the interventionist team, the custodians, literally everyone, because you want to be friendly with everyone. You want them to know that they can come to you for anything. And also, if you need to come to them, they're not like, who is this person? All right. A do that is easy, but I feel like a lot of people don't do it, is definitely take your lunch break. Like your whole lunch break. If you get 30 minutes, take the 30 minutes. If you get an hour, take that hour. And if possible, try to get outside. I know I like to eat in my car. That doesn't happen all the time, but it does most of the time, because I just want to get out of the building, be in my own little space, even if just for a little bit. And it breaks up the time, so I'm not in the same building all day. So if you can, it's good to get some fresh air. And that could kind of be like your you time, even if it's just for like 30 minutes to an hour. Plus, you don't want to miss lunch. We need that. That's important. Like, eating is important, and you have to, you know, give yourself that energy. Okay, for my last do, I actually had to go and get my agenda, because my last do is to make sure you're organized. And I would say you should have an agenda to organize yourself. So I'm going to show you the one that I have, and I have no idea if it's gonna focus or not, but I like to use this one. I've been using it like every year for the past couple of years, and I really like this one because it's a daily agenda. So each day has its own page, and it's very helpful when you're trying to plan everything, because over here you have the hours and you can write it in. And then in the middle, you're gonna have, okay, like, what am I going to do today, you know? And then some extra notes on the side here, where it's just like, oh, I don't know, like sometimes I'll even put like my bills over here, like, oh, this is due today. And I'll put like the meetings and stuff on the exact times, or if I have anything scheduled after work. And then the to-do is everything I have to do that day. So like a meeting, I want to write a report, and I'll write for who. I want to meet with a kid. It's just very helpful for me to have it daily like this. And I mean, you don't have to. Some people don't like that it's so big, or that it's a whole page. But I think having something to organize yourself is definitely needed to stay on top of things and to not stress yourself out. So definitely get an agenda or something, calendar, to organize yourself. But guys, thank you so much for sticking around. If you stuck around to the end, I really hope that these tips help you to survive your first year. And you know what? Even if it's not your first year, if it's like your second year, these can still be useful. And I wish that I had these things in mind going into it. So I didn't, but I am relaying the information to you, and I hope that you can use it. So I thank you and appreciate you so much for watching. If you have any other tips and suggestions, anyone, especially if you've been working for a while, leave that down below, because it'll be super helpful for other people and myself even. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.